Hey guys, just a real quick video today. I just want to go over the trade that I took earlier today as well as what I'm looking at in the midterm here. I pointed out in our group chat that we had this yellow triangle that I was pointing out, and you can see that as soon as we got a close above, I entered a long position, and as well we had a perfect resist to support flip of the line that I had mapped out, so that is pinpoint accuracy right there. I ended up taking my profits, took a quarter of it off the table here at this green line, another quarter of it off at this green line, and then I updated my stop loss into two parts, one at this red line here and then the other at this red line here. So all in all, it was a beautiful trade. It played out very quickly, and then it reversed very quickly. So an interesting thing about this triangle is no matter what way you look at it, the measured move played out both directions. First, from our breakout point, we got more than a measured move there. And if you go as in a descending triangle from where we would have broken out from, we had a very similar size move to the opposite direction. So it's interesting it played both directions there. Um, I only played the upside on that one and locked in profits rather than looking for a short opportunity there, because you guys know that generally I've been playing this market bullishly lately. I've been looking for long snipes versus shorts. And actually right now I'm even considering speculating long just a little bit. I don't have much of a pattern right now, so I don't really want to go with a full size position. I would like to see some sort of a falling wedge form so that I can play another triangle trend line like this one earlier today, even if we get back up here and form another sort of triangle. But one thing that is interesting is that even though we had this massive red candle dump, we never closed below either of the lines of my outline triangle. Or sorry, we did close below the top line, I guess, there, but we never did close below the descending triangle. This is quite a large wick that ended up happening, which means the bulls were not ready to wait. They wanted to step in, and the buy pressure came right back in. And we've noticed this, we've had dumps like this a couple times very recently. Actually, if I change to a 4-hour chart, you can see that we kind of had it right here. We had, well, first of all, we had our pump up, and then we had our massive drop, and with this massive wick on the bottom. So it ended up kind of playing out the same, whereas then it found support on a trend line. I'm thinking that the majority of our trading is kind of between these red lines here, that sort of a trading range. But you can see we got right back into that range, so we're kind of finding support there, and we started trending up from there. And I think on the 15-minute chart, that might be what we're seeing right now as well, if you look at it. Like I said, it's gonna be a small position for now, but I would like to add if we get some sort of a falling wedge or even maybe a retest of this yellow line. If I were to extend it, it may continue to carry on some significance, so maybe we'll get some sort of a test along here. That would be nice to play a bounce as well, but we're going to have to see. For now, I'm kind of leaning towards this going and testing back up to the upside, even if we just get up to this red line here. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at this at all. This is just flying by the seat of my pants here. We are almost at the 618, which would worry me about a potential rejection zone. But the fact that we jumped right back up on top of the 0.5 fib line here, it's looking like there is still quite a bit of buying pressure. As soon as a big sell-off is, well, really the opportunity is to spark a massive dump. Like that one, it's not really that bad. On the 15-minute, it looks pretty bad, but that had the opportunity to start a real series of sell-offs, and it kind of just got bought right back up. Halfway recovered immediately, so I'm not overly bearish on this trend yet. If I just want to clean this up a little bit for you guys. I'm going to go back to the 4-hour chart. I know I pointed this out in a previous video, but I'm under the impression that we might be in this trading range between these purple lines. And if that's the case, I would not be surprised to see a third touch point here. Even if we do get rejected there, it wouldn't surprise me if we at least tested it again. And what I would actually love to see would be if we test this purple line for a third touch point and then drop back down and retest this white weekly support line. You guys know I was pretty excited when we broke it up here, even though I did think that it was very possible to be a fake out rejection, which was bang on. But the second time we break it, it might not be quite as bearish, because if we're willing to get there a second time, then there's obviously signs in the market that the price is wanting to be testing the upside. So we're going to have to see how this goes. If I zoom out to the weekly, you guys know that I've been pointing this out for quite some time, but see, on the weekly scale, it looks that move that happened today was very minimal, but you can see that we are testing the upside of this little cluster that we kind of have forming right here. We're testing the upside of it more than the downside, and especially if you look at this triangle pattern, the fact that we're starting to touch it more and more rather than getting rejected super hard, we're starting to just kind of hover around there. So to me, it looks like we might be building the momentum or the pressure needed to break through this. So that is my bullish standpoint. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own research. These markets are very high risk, but I'm just showing you what I'm looking at for potentials in the market. You guys know that I mostly play the 15-minute, 1 hour, even 4 hour charts sometimes. So I'm looking more at get out of the market, because you have these moves that pump and dump just as fast and sometimes harder. So after I took my first set of profits just below this red line here, what I do is once I start taking profits, I generally update my stop loss. I start sometimes I'll ladder out, sometimes I'll take the whole thing out, kind of depends how I'm feeling about my position. But this would stress a lot of people out who are traders, whereas when I looked at my phone and saw that this dump happened, I just smiled, because I knew that I locked in the rest of my profits and there was no foul there. There was no loss on the position because I locked in profits at 4 different points. So even though there was a pump and then an even more aggressive dump, it doesn't matter, because I got in, I got out, made profits that would make you sick in the stock market, because this was at 15 times leverage. So I took my profits at, it was 16%, 22%, and then the rest was stopped out somewhere at like 10 and 7% or something like that. But that alone in a traditional market would be ridiculous gains on an asset, and that's in crypto trading with leverage. You can see those kinds of results in the matter of an hour or two. So that's wild to see, and that's why I like to get in and get out, just lock in those profits and grow that account. So anyways, guys, that's just kind of what I'm looking at today. Just wanted to give it a quick update, and with that, I'm out. Peace.